Welcome to Mosquito. Today we are going to be comparing one of our Chinese counterparts who imports their product from China and the Mosquito Carbon Light. In this video, we are going to demonstrate how Mosquito vacuums have 26% more power. Both vacuums are rated 6 quarts, but the tests show the Chinese vacuum only has a 3-quart capacity. The Mosquito vacuum is more than 1.5 pounds lighter. Mosquito has 18% more airflow. This is accomplished with larger diameter tools, smooth bore hoses, angled inlets, and a more powerful motor. Mosquito's warranty on all electrical components is 7 years versus 1 year for the Chinese product. The replacement cost of the large HEPA filter basket is $266 versus $16 for the Mosquito HEPA dome filter, which works in conjunction with our synthetic bag that has 4 levels of HEPA filtration, which is reusable. These are just a few of the key takeaways that we'll cover in this video. Keep watching for more detailed comparisons. And it all starts now with the unboxing. So first thing we have first thing right out of the box. We have the infamous 2-piece. So this is universal. It's 2 pieces. Notice it necks down. We'll go over that later, but this is a severe neck down because they push if they want a American Standard or they want metric, they just press this piece into this one. So it's necked down a great deal inside. We'll go over that later. But if you have any questions on that, it's actually the American tools that come with the Mosquito products. We have a breakdown in our catalog that shows this cut in half, and we go through what they have on their product, and we'll address that when we get to tools. But just a nice little diversion. Let's see what we have here. All right. So, let's look at these tools. All right. Standard tools. Standard dust brush. Crevice tool. So this comes with just a carpet tool, but not this is one tool short of being a complete set. It's interesting. All right, so let's see. So this here, I'm gonna take the sticker off of this because I don't wanna throw these guys under the bus too bad. Nicer sticker comes off so easy. All right, so there we go. Now obviously they are very proud right from the get-go. They're very proud of their HEPA vacuum. Wow, okay. All right, so, I don't know. Oh, this is a assemble yourself product. Just notice the backrest is not on the product. All right. Where is the screws? Ah, okay. Nuts, bolts, washers, all that kind of stuff is on the product. All right, that's pretty good. Okay, so we're going to put this on later if I can figure out how to do it properly. All right, so initial unpackaging, that is our Chinese counterpart. All right, let's go to the Mosquito item. You see Mosquito, we have a lot of pride in our product. Look at that boxing. Now, this boxing is designed to be obviously beautiful, but we go through, and if you ever forget all the features and benefits of the product, we go through the hose, we go through the power, why it's cooler on your back, why it's lighter, why the hose never, ever clogs. We go through real HEPA filtration. I'm gonna teach you a little bit about that, and our premium cord. And then, of course, the American floor tools, all made in the States, as well as most of this product. We have divested ourselves from China. We're 90% American and some Mexican components. All right, let's just dump this out, make this easy. Ah, yes, look at that. Well, first right off, I can tell you the color is a lot nicer. All right, we got our cord. Well, look at that product. What a difference. Now notice, right from the beginning, we're getting two tools. We get a hard surface tool, which is a brush. Now notice it's got a cutout right here. You can buy these many different ways. They can have a cutout in the back. There, you can have it where if you're using tile with grout, where it's flat the whole way so the air comes through the grout lines. A lot of different choices there. And then the standard. This was developed by ProTeam. One of my fans, Larry, who has passed many years ago, developed this product. It's beautiful. This is a imitation of the same product, but this one's inferior because it's a two-piece. Notice the diameter, if you took calipers, inside, deep inside, you see that where there's necks down? So theirs is smaller on the top, and then when it goes way inside there, it hits. It's smaller. It clogs quickly. All right, let's go to hoses. So Mosquito, we sell the ProTeam style hose also. You can get that in a Mosquito lid, which is a screw-on lid. We sell those also. But our standard is always an angled entry. And why that is? Because it doesn't clog. This will ingest, which is just one of these, this will ingest a 9-inch straw. This clogs at 3.5 inches. Anytime you see this component, you probably would like to supply your customer with duct tape because this is going to leak and this is going to leak, and pretty soon you have this nice sound by your ear. So in addition, oh my goodness, Mosquito is car wash hose. Look at this. This is just cheapy. One-piece hose. Now notice it's ribbed inside. Now here's the difference. Mosquito uses a swivel adapter so it's not tough on your wrist. And Mosquito is a two-piece hose. It's smooth inside. And notice how hard it is. Now, I bet I could pull this in two. Not that bad, but it's still really cheesy. This is car wash hose run over with a car. So, by the way, it's always reverse thread, so it doesn't unwind in use. Okay, extension cord. Terry, did this not come with an extension cord? Maybe it's inside. Let's see. There is no extension cord. Did that just happen? Could that be real?
No, I noticed when you pulled it out, there's nothing.
No extension cord. So you're probably going to end up with a Home Depot cord that twists and has a lot of problem. Now, Mosquito, premium, super silky feeling. They resist twisting. All cords will twist, but these really resist twisting. And I'm so surprised they don't have a cord. But let's stay focused on the cords. All right, so Mosquito, let's make sure I don't get these confused. So Mosquito, in order to protect the vacuum, this is the #1 product that is repaired or replaced on every single product, whether it's the premium ProTeam or the least expensive unit on the market. This is what always fails. Now what Mosquito does, Mosquito has a pigtail, and then we bring that pigtail into a holder. And then in addition, to stop any stress on this pigtail assembly, Mosquito attaches it. And it's attached, that's European Union rules, because all electrical components must have a tool to be used to remove an electrical component, and we comply with EU regulations. It's a really smart one. In addition, we have our protected switch, which Very, very nice. You can take a pair of pliers, pull that out. In 60 seconds, I can repair that switch. So what I'm saying here is switch replacement, pigtail replacement, really never happens on a Mosquito item. This, although I do like this being here on the body, there's no protection for it. It's just sitting out here. Now they do have just 2 screws. Oops, sorry, those aren't screws. You have to drill out a pop rivet. And I hope the repair facility has a pop rivet gun to re-rivet these. Not a fan of this. This is going to take a while to replace. I can do mine in 60 seconds. Pigtail assembly, you got to drop the motor to take all this out. So that is definitely a concern. So that is a very, very interesting scenario. We're going to go through the lid. Pretty nice little lid. These are always tight, but this one's not really engaging. It's not even going in a quarter. That's not even going in a 1/4 inch. This cup, the durometer of this is way too stiff. Yeah, not even a 1/4 inch in. Mosquitoes lids. Notice that how big this diameter is. So on the Carbon Light, we start. I'm gonna have you shoot up here, Terry. We start with 1.5 inch diameter, and the hose enlarges all the way down to where it enters, and it's 3.5 inches cut at an angle. So you really never clog this. And when I joked a little earlier about a 9-inch straw, we'll show a little comparison where we can suck up this whole bag of 9-inch straws. This Pro Team style 90-degree cuff, or the ones that the Chinese are copying, 3.5 inches, and it is clogged. All right, so that is my initial look at the product. So we have no extension cord. We're short a floor tool. You have to assemble it. Let's see what kind of wand they have here. Oh, they upgraded. They used to have, instead of a copper, this little piece crimps down as you tighten it. They used to have an aluminum one. They did upgrade. Now, when you put these on, they should always be nice and swivel. So once you tighten this all the way, it should swivel. And all right, Terry, how about we head back and go weigh these, and let's see how they weigh. Now, one thing you notice, I just tighten this with my hand. If this latch breaks, you throw this in the back of a truck, this thing's out, this thing bends, good luck. All right, so now we're gonna weigh them. Now, the competitor's unit made you assemble the shoulder and waist belt. I'm not doing that. I am just gonna lay it on top. Now, this unit, so that is 12.49, so 12.5 pounds. All right, now, notice there's no extension cord, so there's a little bit of weight. When we weigh the Mosquito, we're gonna have it laying off the side. We're probably gonna get a little weight from the cord, but that's okay. Now, as I take this away, I'll show you there's nothing inside. So we didn't fudge it. We didn't fudge anything. All right. So, Mosquito unit. Now, Mosquito comes with a cord. So we're gonna just lay this off the side. It's not gonna be involved, even though we're gonna get a little weight from it, not much. All right. Let me make sure that this is independently sitting here. We're at 10, well, let's call it 11, 10.8. So let's call it 11 pounds. So we're 1.5 pounds lighter, even though we're picking up a little weight here from the cord. So 1.5, 1.75 pounds of weight difference in the two. And then a much better quality because it's Mosquito. So we're gonna jump into the HEPA filtration because obviously they are very proud of their HEPA filtration. And when just a moment ago, Terry and I popped this open, and when I opened it, I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I thought, wow, this thing is sort of cool looking. Looks expensive, looks great. They've reversed this. Normally this is to support a bag. They put it inside, which I can totally understand. They're trying to catch the larger particles first and then the smaller ones. because this is an old Kimberly-Clark imitation, and if you hold it up to light, it's pretty much see-through. Terry, I don't know if you can get a close-up on that. It's just, you can just see that it's just holes everywhere. I'm guessing this is a $50 or $100 item. We're going to check on that, Terry, and we'll put it in the video. But I'm guessing right off that this is a very expensive replacement item. But I sort of like it. All right, Mosquito. Mosquito is very proud of our filtration. Okay, so we use 2 bags, and we also use a secondary HEPA filter. Now this one here, it's a little bit tight, and you sort of have to wiggle it out. You got to put these just right to wiggle it out. Now, this is Mosquito's filtration, and we're going to go with, this is whatever the company is, because I don't want to throw them under the bus too much. I am already, but. Okay, so Mosquito believes in a disposable bag. Now, we don't like to waste things. So this is somewhat disposable. It's not a paper bag. This is synthetic. If you notice, this bag has a heat, what do they call it? They clamp it and it heats itself together because it's basically a synthetic. There's no stitching. It's all heat sealed. Okay, so now what's impressive about this, because this can ingest, like if you're at the beach and there happens to be a little water on the floor and you didn't know it, no problem. It's not going to fall apart. Now notice, this is a HEPA medium. This entire bag is a HEPA medium, and it's disposable. So when this bag is bad, it's $1.25 retail. Pretty close, pretty sure of that. So $1.25, you just throw it away. And this bag is really, they call it 4-level filtration. That was a Pro Team reference, but it really doesn't filter much. It's designed to hold the bag in order to pull it out. So when you get a ton of sand in here, or dirt, you can pull it out. It's beautiful. Now, Mosquito believes, and I can guarantee you, you go do some drywall dust, you're at the beach, you're at the desert where you get fine dust, you're gonna start loading your bag up. And this is gonna get a little heavier. And Mosquito, if that bag does get heavier, it ends up resting on the top of this plate. And notice, we have another HEPA filter that protects the motor. So if there's any failure of the basic filtration, now the motor's protected and the user's protected. We have double HEPA filtration. Okay, so I decided to take the manual out, make sure I was getting this filtration correct. So on the Mosquito, we have a full 6 quarts, maybe even a hair more. So this unit is interesting. At first, I didn't think it had a bag because it was off to the side, but it does have a bag. Now, it is synthetic. That's a nice bag. Here's the downside is, they have a beautiful filter I'm going to show you in a second. You're going to be using a lot of bags. You cannot reuse this bag. This is like in a critical HEPA design. This is not a critical HEPA vacuum. So you cannot reuse this bag. I'm going to check pricing. We'll put the pricing in the bottom of the screen later when we get that, but that I'm sure is expensive. It's nice, you got a little thing, but notice the size difference. So you definitely have this is not a 6-quart vacuum. I don't know why they're saying 6-quart. That's not 6 quarts. In a separate test, we discovered that we could only get 3 quarts of powder in the Chinese bag. The Mosquito bag can hold a full 6 quarts with room to breathe. Now, let's go to this big filter. All right, first I was so impressed, and then I started thinking, if somebody doesn't use a bag, which you know because they can't reuse this, they're not going to use that bag, guarantee you. Because with our vacuums, we have a 7-year warranty, and what made our warranty work is this filtration, because we protect the motor, plus we use the exhaust goes out the bottom. It's a lot of air in and a lot of air out, and it keeps that motor cool. Well, we've got a lot of potential. If someone doesn't use this bag, or if they don't use it, have a bunch of new ones handy, which we know nobody really does, and this thing clogs up, that motor's going to heat. Now, interesting, just before we videoed, I took this and I noticed some rocking. So I went and I tried to figure out, could that thing be really rocking? And this thing is It's not flat. So they never trimmed it. Got a big bump here, a big bump here. So anything that comes out of a plastic mold needs to be trimming, or just get it kissed with a sander, because during the heat of the day or cool at night, whenever they're molding them, now you notice the mosquito, it just gets kissed by a flat plane, and so the mosquito is uber flat. Oh, sorry, nothing. It's just flat. Yeah. So that's the difference. Something. I don't know how good their filtration is. They said it's tested. I'll trust them. But definitely, you have a very big little issue here. Love doing that. Okay, so, all right. Just interesting. Yeah, I'd love to find out how much this is. We're going to find out how much this replacement cost is, because we know the moment this thing gets dirt in it, that motor's going to heat up like crazy. All right, they got a nice, let's guess, I'm thinking 3.5 quarts, but I'm gonna find out. And then we got this little guy. Boy, everything's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. All right, so that's their HEPA filtration. Do like the bag though. It's a good quality, but too small and not reusable. All right, Terry, one more before I went through their manual. Says it gets a cord, shows it right here. Number 23 was not in the box. So don't know what happened there. Possible somebody on the assembly line just missed it. This box was not opened until you saw it opened on our camera, so not sure what's going on there. All right, that is it for the HEPA comparison. Right, so now we're going to test the vacuum motors. So I moved them over so that the exhaust is going this way. We might get a little reflection of sound off of here, but shouldn't be much. Then I'm going to immediately do a lift test. Gives a little idea of the power of the units, but airflow is also extremely important. This does not count airflow. The combination of lift and airflow is air watts, and I don't have that ability to read. I don't have that meter. So, but here, let's do the sound and the power of the mosquito and see where we come. All right, we're gonna turn it on. Okay, so average of 81, I'm going to round up, 81.7, let's call it. So mosquito is 82, and that's decibels, that's dB. By the way, that's not real decibels. We're just using this like a car mileage comparison. This is not a calibrated iPhone by any means. Okay, let's do the vacuum test. So we were at 110. Now, the bag shaker, which I've started to call it, that's actually the vacuum release on the motor. So if you block off airflow, it's going to allow air to come in from the backside to make sure that motor doesn't heat up. That pulsation, that's where we came up with the pulse power. But interesting enough, when I used it on a recent remodel of my house and I was doing drywall dust, huge quantities of it, I was able to put my hand on it. The bypass would kick in, shake the bag, and my vacuum would resume at a higher rate. It's a fun little thing I just learned after 30 years of making vacuums. So bag shaker / pulse power, it works. Okay, so mosquito had 82 unedited decibels. Who knows what it is, but we're just gonna use that number for a comparison because that iPhone is not set up properly. And it's 110 inches of lift. All right. For our little comparison, Terry, let's fire this up. Get this going. All right, let's clear that. All right, we're all cleared. Let's turn it on. All right, here. 82.6, oh, very, very similar. I get a round up, so it's 83 dBs. We got them by 1. It's almost the same. So That's close. Now let's do a vacuum test. Let's find out. Ooh, I took the hose cup off and it has some sort of glue. All right, ready? Let's do it. 85 inches of lift. That does not have a lot of power. 85. So this little vacuum here, we can just, my chicken scratch. Mosquito, the Chinese vacuum, very similar, 1 decibel. With this unofficial iPhone, let's call it the same. 110 versus 85, significant power difference. Okay, straw test. 9-inch straw, would have got a longer one, but they don't make them that I know of. Here's a 3-inch. So this is, so that thing's clogged. All right, let's go to mosquito. Oh, it's not clogged. All right, so obviously the old Pro Team style is, it just clogs with everything and it leaks. Where the backrest goes. '98. '85. So 98 and 85. We got a big difference in temperature on the backside. So when there's resistance to these and you don't have good airflow, you're gonna start heating your motor up. So we did some resistance, which is just that much air coming through, which is pretty normal. And we see a large difference there in the heat. So I believe once you get some powder in there, some other things that are gonna restrict the vacuum, that temperature is gonna rise and there'll be a bigger differential. And we'll do some more testing in a little bit. So we have done quite a few tests. It's pretty obvious that Mosquito beats this Chinese product hands down in every category. But here's the fun one. This is the one I love. This is where you have confidence in your product. This company, made in China, what would you think the warranty would be? 1 year. This vacuum cleaner is warranted for 1 year from date of purchase. What are they afraid of? Why not 2 or 3? I've been doing this with the 2 different companies, 500,000 vacuums. We have absolute confidence. On our vacuums, this was a comparison with another company, but it shows our warranty. The body is lifetime with Mosquito. That's forever. The pigtail, which is nicely tucked away in our little cove, 7 years. It's unconditional, 7 years. Motor, 7 years and 5 years. The switch is lifetime. I doubt you'll ever replace a switch. But look at the warranty difference, and then look at here where it says 1 year. And what I'm saying is, what are they afraid of? This concludes our product comparison. The choice is yours. We hope we've made your choice much easier.